In this video, I'm gonna show you how we can create this fire portrait using Photoshop. So let's get started. Hey, what's up guys, Dhruval here, and as you can see, this is the final output. Now as you can see, we have a lot of fire and also a little bit of particles going on. Now for this effect, I will be using this stock photo that I found on deviantart.com, and also I will be using this fire photo and this particle photo, and all these images are from deviantart.com, and if you want to use them, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. So to create this effect, first of all, I'm gonna select my crop tool from here, and I will make it a little bit bigger from both sides so that we have enough space to introduce fire, and then I'm gonna go and confirm it. Also, we need to make him a little bit smaller. So after that, go and press Ctrl T and then hold your shift key and make him a little bit smaller. Yeah, that's enough, and confirm it. And now go and select your move tool from here, and you can move it a little bit here. Yeah, in center, looks good. Now, like almost every effect, we have to cut him out from the background, and for that I'm gonna go and right click here and select my quick selection tool from here, and I will make my brush bigger using my bracket keys, so that's big enough, and make a selection. Now the area is selected, but we need to remove it from some unnecessary area. So for that, you can go and click on this minus option, and now you can remove it just like you added it. Now it can get little difficult to remove it from inside the fingers. So for that, you right click here and then you select magic wand tool and make sure your option is third one, and then you do a simple click and it will be done. So the selection is ready, and now we can apply the layer mask. So for that, go and click on this third icon here. So we have a layer mask. Now I'm gonna go and create a new blank layer from this second last icon and put it under my model layer here. Then select my paint bucket tool, right click paint bucket tool, and go and select my black color and fill it. After that, you go and double click on your background layer, and then you select gradient overlay, and in the gradient you go here, and instead of this black color you click here, and in the color option you change it to really darker red, something like this. You hit OK, then you go to your white color here, and then you click here to change the color to a little bit of brighter red, not too much bright. Okay, yeah, that's more than enough, and then hit OK, and here hit OK. Then in the style, go and change it to radial and go and reverse it, so we have this outside, the darker area, and make it scale as big as possible. So yeah, that looks good, and change the opacity to somewhere around like 20% and hit OK. Now the background and subject both are ready, so we can add in the fire, and to do that, you go to file menu and you go and select place, and in the place select the fire image that you downloaded and go and place it and confirm it. So my fire image is already under my model, as you can see here, and now I'm gonna go and change its blending mode to what do you call screen, so we can get rid of the black background. Now first thing I will do is I will right click and select rasterize this layer, so we can use eraser. That's good. Now press Ctrl T, hold your shift key and make it smaller like this small. A little bit more won't hurt, so that looks good. Now if I look here, as you can see, it's a little bit harsh, so go and confirm your selection transform first, so it's really sharp. So for that, go and select your eraser tool from here, and here make sure your hardness is 0%, and then you go and erase it a little bit from here. So now it's looking better, and I'm gonna go and select my move tool from here and move it exactly here somewhere. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. You can use Ctrl T and rotate it a little bit if you like. So that's looking pretty good, and I'm gonna go and confirm it. Now we have to make a copy of it, so for that press Ctrl J, and then I will put this copy here, and then press Ctrl T, and I'm gonna go and remove rotate it a little bit, and then I'm gonna go and confirm it from here. Now important tip, when you copy fires like this, this will show that you have used the same layer multiple times. So what you do, when you make a copy, select eraser and remove this kind of particles. So now it seems like that it blends better, see, just like that. Now I'm gonna make another copy, Control J, and then I will go and move this one here like this. So as you can see, now we have entire background covered in fire, but at this point you will also have a lot of fire layers, as you can see here. So what do? You click on your first fire here, hold your shift key and click on the last fire. Afterwards you go and press Ctrl G. So this way you have that in single group and you can manage it easily, nothing else. So this is looking good. After that I'm gonna go and create new adjustment layer, and then I will select hue saturation. And first thing I will do is I will click on this option, so it will only affect my fire group here. So in the hue saturation I will go here and change my hue to 12 because I like this color better on fire. Then close it. And you also have to make sure that your group, this fire group, that also has blending mode on screen, so you can make sure everything is transparent. So the fire effect is ready and we can start adding in the particle. So for that, select your hue saturation and create a new blank layer on top of that, but under your model layer here. Then you go to file, go and select place, and in the place you go and select your particles, and then I will go and confirm it. Now I'm gonna go and change its blending mode to screen, obviously. Then I will press Ctrl T, rotate it a little bit like this, make them a bit smaller and put it here like that. Then I'm gonna go and confirm it. Now it looks more like a square. So first of all I will right click on my layer, and then I will select rasterize, then select my eraser tool as you can see here and remove it from some parts here like that. Now it looks much better. Then you go to filter, blur, and then you go and select motion blur. And motion blur somewhere around like 20-30% is better, so 20 looks good. Then you go and hit OK. And now just like fire, I will make multiple copies of it. So I'm going to press Ctrl J, and then I will select my move tool from here and move my particles a little bit here, and then Ctrl T and rotate them so it doesn't look more repetitive, just like that, and confirm it. Make another copy. So the particles are ready, and just like the fire, select your first particle layer, hold your shift key and click on the last one, and then you can press Ctrl G. So now fire and particle work is done and we can start working on the model. So for that, first thing you have to do is hold down your Control key and click on this layer mask here. As you can see, my arrow, click. So you have selection. Now comes the important part. Let me zoom in a little bit. So here as you can see we have selection. After that I will go to my select menu, modify, and then I will go and select this contract option, and I will select my number to 10 and hit OK. So the selection is little bit inside. Now zoom out. Afterwards make sure you have selected your main layer 0. Go to your adjustment layer and select hue and saturation. So as you can see, hue saturation also has this mask. After that, go and change your lightness to -100%, close it, and change its blending mode to overlay. So this way we also have this rim light, but it's really sharp, see? So for that, select your layer mask of hue saturation layer. You go to filter, blur, and then you go and select Gaussian blur. Now if I turn it on and off, as you can see, now it's much more softer and better. You can count it down a little bit if you want a bit sharper effect. So I think 16 looks good, somewhere around, and hit OK. Now if I zoom out, we have our darkness ready. Now we also have to make our rim light more colorful. So for that, make sure you have selected your layer 0 here. Then you go and double click and select inner glow. And in the inner glow, make sure your color is somewhere bright orange, because we need that type of rim light. Bit yellowish would be better. Yeah, that. Hit OK. And then you go and increase the size a little bit so that we can see it better. Yeah, much better. And also increase the opacity if you want even more intense look. But that's too much. So this is looking better. And after that, go and hit OK. Now the effect is looking good, but I don't want it on his head because it doesn't look good. So what do? You right click on your FX option here, exactly here. You right click and then you select create layer. So as you can see now your layer style, it's on a different layer, which is really important. So select this, select your eraser, and now you can erase it from its head. So it doesn't go anywhere. And now if I turn it on and off, see now it looks much better. Now this is looking good, but we also have to apply some color correction, and for that you first of all right click and then you select create clipping mask. So it's in a link, right? These two things only affect the model, not the background. And the same manner I will go and create new adjustment layer and I will select color balance, and in the color balance, just like all, right click and create clipping mask. And then I will go and increase my red a little bit in my midtones. Then I will go to my highlights and I will increase a little bit of a yellow. So the color starts to match a little bit, looks good, close it. After that I will go and create new adjustment layer and select a solid, and in the solid, just like I'm gonna go and select bright orange color, hit OK, and change the blending mode to soft light. Now it's really strong, so you go and change the opacity to somewhere around 20-30%. Turn it on and off. Yep, now it looks better. And then you right click and create clipping mask. So now it only affects the model. And here comes the best part. You have your fire here, right, in separate group. So you make a copy of it, Control J. It will remove your clipping mask, but don't worry. You go and put this fire on top of everything here. And here we got rid of the clipping mask, right? So you right click and turn on the create clipping mask. So it's only on the fire. So the fire we have here, right? This fire, now it's everywhere. So you go and apply a layer mask on your group. You can do that on group. See, it's fun. So apply a layer mask, select your brush tool from here, and in the option, in the color, sorry, make sure it's black color. And then also here, make sure your hardness is 0%. And then you erase it from here. And also make sure your opacity, it's 100%. And you are painting on layer mask. So you go and remove it from the places where you don't want it. So I think from here like this, a little bit from here and there. Yeah, don't remove it from everywhere, okay? Keep it a little bit on body parts like that. And just in case if you didn't know, you can go and change the color to white and you can bring it back just if you make a mistake. And you can go back to black and remove it from where you don't want it. So I'm going to turn it off a little bit here, a little bit here. And now if I turn it on and off, see, it makes the entire effect like really good. So a little bit remove from there. And after once this is done, you go and create new adjustment layer and then you select brightness and contrast. And I'm going to make it a little bit brighter like that. So you know that intensity from fire, that looks good. And then you go and change the contrast to somewhere around like a little bit, but don't do too much contrast. It ruins the effect. So that's looking good, and close it. Now if you look at the face, it's like really red. So to get a solution for that, what makes it red? Our hue saturation, see, it makes it red. So you select the layer mask here. We already have brush and black color, but this time you go and change the opacity to like 20-30%. And then you go and do a simple click. See, now the redness is gone because the effect is little less on the face now. And you can do it one more time. So now that is looking much better. So this is the final output, and I really wanted to show you that how we can use one single image and create entire effect out of this. And I really hope that you guys learned something from this video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you have any kind of questions or suggestions, feel free to ask me in comment section below. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.